Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to the Deal Desk, where I call your leads live, and I want you to watch me make some live calls so you see how I handle situations, overcome objections, get accepted offers, close deals, get yelled at, anything and everything. It's always great to do these live because that's where you learn the most. So we're just going to get right into it. And if you want to submit your leads, if you are not in the community, you can head over to the reitoolbox.com. If you are in the community, you have a direct line of communication in the chat. I can see your questions. I can see your leads. So feel free to message over any leads or questions you may have. And I'll get right to the list here. Let's go over here and see what we have. All right. So the first property is in San Antonio, Texas. Okay. So remember, Texas is a non-disclosure state, so you're not going to be able to see the public sale information. So you need MLS data, right? If you don't have MLS data, you want to look at active and pending properties on the market. If a property's been listed for over 30 days, or let's say went pending after, I don't know, 30, 45, 50, 60 days, they probably did not get what it was listed for. Usually what I see, if it sells anything less than 30 days, that's when it typically probably got close to their asking price. Okay. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at leads in Texas. That's something to take into consideration. So it looks like, let me see. It looks like that this property is this for sale by owner. All right. So this is the property. All right, fair condition, needs updating of bathroom, kitchen, new carpet. Let's see, the only photos need some work. Hold on a second. No, needs updating bathroom and kitchen, new carpet. This house has a rental quality as is, but if upgraded, this could be a nice new family home. All right, asking price $190. An agent told him, he says this is negotiable. Reason for selling: his father passed away and he does not need the house. Okay, so this is inherited property. The seller's not in a rush, okay, but wants a fair price. Said he was approached by an agent who wants to list it for $195. Says he wants to be south of that number because he wants to sell in a reasonable time frame. Home is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,086 square feet, 2-car garage, built in 2000. Nice backyard and front roof was replaced 5 years ago. Okay, so this is an inherited property. This answers a question. Why does somebody, want to sell to an investment company, right? Why not list it with an agent? Because they don't want to go through the hassle of the time frame, right? So how long has this guy been trying to sell it? So 3 days. All right, 38 saves. So it looks like there's a lot of interest. He's asking $190. Okay. Well, I don't know if that's a good price or not. Let's give him a call first to see what's going on with it. Let me pull this up here. Let's see, seller's name, Mr. Tomko. Mr. Tomko. All right, and is this the agent? Let me just check. Okay, no, it's not. All right, cool. So let's call this seller and let's see if we can negotiate a price. I'm going to start running comps on this. I use PropStream. PropStream does pull MLS data, so I can get a good understanding of what the real. It looks like it's in fair shape anyway, so.
57549.
On back one more time. Okay. See if he picks up the phone. Brazos Wood.
57549.
But something that's really interesting, you could tell if it'll sell quick is, there's 38 saves in 3 days. There's 603 views. He's asking 190. This house, it's 2000. So, a lot of it is not can't be in that bad a shape. It looks okay. And then I just want to take a quick look at the comps here. Estimated value is 237. Let me look at the MLS data. There's a comp that sold for 301. We got 300, 301. Oh, hold on a second. Let me filter the single family. Yeah, the highest selling single family property is $301,000, and it was built in 1985. Okay, so it's a little bit older. It's pretty identical, actually. There's some that are built in 1990, 275. So I think the ARV is between 275 to 300,000. All right, so that's probably why there's a lot of interest on it. All right, cool. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will get to the questions here in a second. Let's go to the next lead. We have here Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida. Okay, so what's the deal with this one? All right, so this is also a for sale by owner. 22 days, 66 saves. Something I was talking to the community about is whenever you guys are looking at FSBOs, like let's say an example, let's say a property is listed for sale by owner for $100,000. You cannot and should not lock it up. Even if it's a good deal, you shouldn't lock it up at the price it's listed for, because if you're looking to assign it and you're remarketing the property, let's say you get under contract for 100,000. I mean, I'm assuming you want to make at least $5,000, $10,000. So let's say you market it for 110. Buyers look it up. Hey, this is for sale by owner at 100,000. You're trying to sell it at a higher price than it's listed for, right? So I would advise that you try to get these properties under contract much lower, where you're able to remarket the property at least $20,000 less than what it's listed for. So, like, let's say if it's for sale by owner at $100,000, you want to at least remarket it for $80,000. So at least get under contract for 70. There's pros and cons to these properties that are on the market. It goes for the same on the MLS. You can't remarket it close to what it was listed at, or else it's not really going to look too good. All right, so just keep that in mind if you are going after for sale by owner. But that's why we love off-market properties. All right, so this house is very yellow. All right, so this is the property. All right, looks like it's in good shape. I don't know. Yeah, it looks clean. What's the story with this one? So list on Zillow, try calling. All right, so on Zillow, it says nearly 1/4 of an acre of land with a concrete block home featuring 2-bedroom, a den floor room that could be used as a 3rd bedroom, laundry room, blah, 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 used as an office, large mature mango tree in the backyard across the street. Oh, across the street from Lake Park. This is a mango tree? Oh, that looks like a banana tree. I don't know. Maybe it's back there. Oh, okay. All right, so remember, when I'm looking at these properties, the way I'm coming up with my offers is I put it in 3 buckets. Needs full renovation. That's the first bucket. Second bucket is fair condition. And then third bucket is fully renovated. So this would fit under fair condition because I think you could rent this out. It's not renovated. It's not a tear down. I mean, you probably need some new cabinets, but if you want to rent this thing, it's rental quality. All right. All right, let's give him a call here. This has been on here for 22 days. There's 66 saves, 25 views. So that's okay. There's a reason they're still trying to sell it. So we want to find out if they're still accepting offers for it. Zillow listed on Zillow or Craigslist or wherever you see it. Wants to see
Hi. If you're calling about my properties for sale, please send me a text message and I will get back to you. Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next one. Not answering. So let's see here. We have one in Huntsville, Alabama. Wait, I called this one. This was in San Ann. Here's one in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. This looks like, what is this? I think I called this one, but maybe they didn't pick up. All right, so this one looks like it needs everything. It does have a floor plan, which is good, and then it has some good information. All right, Huntsville, a complete rehab needed, complete reno. Owner no longer wishes to do the rehab. Okay. So what kind of work does this need? This needs floor plan. All right. I mean, that's it. It's just like a frame. All right. Well, let's give him a call. Let's see. Terry King, agent, non-owner. So this is the agent. All right. And they're asking 54.9. 30 days on Zillow, 122 saves, over 2,000 views. Okay. So what's going on here? That seems like a reasonable price. Let's go ahead and give him a call. And then I'm going to start running comps on this, and I'll give my opinion on what I think we should be at. Hello?
This is Terry.
Hey, Terry. My name's Steven. I saw your listing on Zillow. Actually, this is pending. Are you guys still accepting offers, or is this under contract, ready to close?
Well, which house is it?
It's Park Lane Street.
Okay, that is not me. That's the other Terry King.
Oh, there's
I'm the male Terry King, and there's a female Terry King, and we both work at the same office.
Oh, wow. You guys aren't related?
Oh, no, man. No, sir, we're not.
Okay. All right. Is
So
there
you will have, if you'll put in Terri instead of Y as in yellow, her information should pop up.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Okay. So there's two people with the exact same names in the exact same office, and they're not even related. That usually doesn't happen too often. All right. Let's go to the next one here. This one is in Tampa, Florida, Massachusetts Avenue, looks like. All right, so this one is off market, Massachusetts Avenue. Awesome. We love stuff that's off market. Why do you prefer off market? Well, less competition, and you actually have more control of the time frame. Oh, this was listed 2021. They took it off. Just want to make sure. Sometimes on these properties, it'll have a number on the, right underneath actually the main photo of the property, and it'll have a number, and that's typically what it was listed at before. Okay. All right. So here's the property. Let me see. What's the story with this one here? Needs some work. The only photos are the outside. It looks worn and it needs a heavy rehab. Okay. It's currently a rental and wants to reduce his inventory. This is owned. Let me see. This is owned by the agent that's listed. He has many homes as a duplex. His assistant's name is Michael, and he's one who always answers the phone. He's very nice. He answers all the calls. He asked me to look at 5 of his properties. He's investor friendly, but his has all the houses listed too high. Okay, well, this shows off market. Is it listed anywhere else? Let me see. Oh, Zillow, it's off market. Realtor looks like it's for sale. Man, that's crazy. It looks like a completely, I mean, this is fully renovated. On Zillow, there's no information. And then I go to realtor.com and it shows a fully, well, the outside looks like it needs work, but the inside looks, looks like it's in good shape. Okay. Let me see something real quick. I can't show this without it showing the address, but the inside looks renovated. It doesn't look like this. It looks like they painted the outside actually. Okay. Actually, hold on a second. I forgot that you could do this. Give me 1 second here. Sometimes, you want to look at all the websites. Now, if you have props and it shows like an MLS button, that is what it'll show you all the information. But you want to look at other websites and cross-reference the stuff, especially if there was or is an agent involved. Yeah, but this looks like it has new flooring. All this looks just completely different. So this is the house, right? We looked at the photos of the other one. You see that? I mean, this looks like looks like a good rental. All right, let's give them a call and see what's going on with this. They're asking $479. Oh, hold on a second. So this guy actually owns multiple properties. Yeah, I know exactly what investor this is. That's funny. Well, let's call them and see. Let's call them and see. I don't think it's worth that. For an investor, I think it's more of like if somebody wants to buy it to live in it, that's a completely different story. But as far as like an investment play, that it wouldn't be a good fit. Let's give them a call and see what they say. Running comps on this. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Mike.
No, it's Mo.
Oh, I think my partner maybe. Do I have the right number? I was calling about the property in Massachusetts Avenue.
No, wrong number.
Okay. All right. Well, whoever submitted this lead I just copy and pasted the number to the dialer, so this is the incorrect number anyway. All right, so you'd have to double check this number. So the person that owns this actually owns a lot of properties. They're an investor. If they're trying to reduce their inventory, that's fine, but the 479 is just not going to work unless they're open to terms like financing, a down payment with a balloon, all that stuff. Usually those deals could work for nice properties, but this one, yeah, this is not a deal. All right, we have another one in Tampa. We have a few: Tampa, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Jersey City. All right, great. So let's call this one on 44th Street. Okay. All right, so looks like this one is listed on the MLS. Now, if you're going after properties on the MLS, usually when you're going after properties that are listed, you have to keep in mind it takes a lot more offers and there's a lot more competition. Okay. There's a lot more competition on the MLS because everybody's looking on there and you have to get into bidding wars. But doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means you have to be prepared to give more offers and stay on top of your follow-up game. Okay. This property, so is this for sale by owner? No, it's not. It's actually listed on the MLS. 27 days, 97 views. All right. So what's the story of this one? The bathroom needs updating. This is rental quality, but could use a light facelift to make it more attractive for a family home, not too expensive. Yes, definitely rental quality. Yeah, I mean, this is just sometimes these properties, you want to pick and choose who you're going to market it to as well. Do the numbers make sense as a flip? I don't know. You haven't ran the comps, but sometimes these properties, it really relies on, well, why do you want to sell and when do you want to sell, right? The time frame is going to tell you a lot more about why somebody's motivated than the price. This price seems high for this area anyway. All right, let me pull this up here. I know this area pretty good. Well, this is, by the way, any properties that are right next to a cemetery, that they're a little bit tougher to sell because they're less desirable. Okay, so you got a cemetery right there. Yeah, just something to take into consideration. You want to look at everything. When you're looking at these properties to make offers, you want to put yourself in the person's shoes, right? So like there's the house, and then look, there's a cemetery. So some people don't care, some people do, but they may take you got some overgrown stuff here. It may take a little bit longer to sell for some people. You got a vacant lot here. All right, so take a look at the area. All right, cool. So let's call this person. Let's see, 195, but you countered 159. I don't even think 159. Let me see. ARV 238. All right. I don't want to run numbers. I'm going to call them first and just get a better understanding of where they're at. Okay. Let's give them a call. And then let me run some comps here.
This is Ivan Santa with Houseway Solutions. I can answer your call right now, but if you leave a message, I will call you back as soon as I...
Solutions. So it sounds like an investor. Okay. Yeah, sounds like an investor. And they're asking 195 is too high. So with investors, it depends. Do they have it under contract or do they own it? You want to find that out. You can simply find out, based off their name or their entity, and then when you pull it up on the your comping software, just look at the property details, and it looks like they do not own it. Okay, so maybe they have this under contract. I think that it's too high. This is it's an active listing at 195, but it's been on the market for 36 days. So, I really wouldn't go after this too much unless they're open to a JV. Okay? Unless they're open to a JV. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see. I called that one. Actually, I called that one as well. All right, we're going back to San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio is a great market, by the way. Texas and Florida is a little bit slow, but it doesn't matter what the market's doing. What's important, guys, is you get good at getting deals at a discount, right? And I'll tell you something right now. You may be struggling with this. Something that I'm noticing when I'm making calls with the community, most of the homeowners we speak with have had a bad experience with somebody prior to us. Maybe they had it under contract and they sent a buyer out. One lady said that it was under contract and the guy just went ghost. He didn't call to cancel. The title company couldn't find him. And, 99% of these, that have problems prior are wholesalers. Nothing wrong with wholesaling. It's a great exit strategy, but there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. And there's two main things that I noticed when people are doing this incorrectly. Number one, you're new, right? And that's okay if you're new, but you have to make sure you're getting education from a trusted source, somebody that's actively doing it. And, number two, just doing it ethically and being transparent. I was on a call yesterday. It was an agent that listed her house for sale. Okay. And all the calls are recorded in the community, but I told her that we were signing the contract. She didn't have a problem with that. She said, as long as she gets her number. I spoke with another gentleman in Texas. He said, well, what are you going to do after, after it's under contract? Like, the guy didn't want us to tear it down, other stuff like that. But he at first thought, well, it wouldn't be right if you sold it for more. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter what I do as long as you get your price, right? Whether I tear this down, flip it, rent it. Obviously, I'm in this to make a profit. We have to resell it in the future at a higher price, or we can just assign it. I can make $5,000. I can make $1 million, but as long as you get your price, you're okay with that, right? He's like, yeah, I guess. So what I mean is don't be afraid to tell people how it's done, right? Because if you call somebody, there's a right way of explaining it to them where it doesn't freak them out. Because if you just call them and say, I'm gonna wholesale your house, if that's all you do, and they don't understand, they're like, nope, I don't want to do it. Somebody else, I had a bad experience. So most of the time you're going to walk into a mess you didn't create, and now you have to clean it up. But you have to be very upfront, very open. So that way it separates you from the competition. You set very good expectations, but they trust you. You're not hiding anything. We've spoke with homeowners where we get under contract. They know exactly what we're doing. We're marketing the property. We actually had somebody screenshot. We posted a deal in a Facebook group. Somebody screenshot it, send it to that seller, and he didn't care. And we closed, and he sent us another one. So ultimately, it's, just keep that in mind. That's something that's happening so much nowadays compared to when I first started in 2015, 2016, and I think that's why this industry is getting more regulated. And I think it's great. I think it's great that it's getting regulated because it's going to weed out a lot of the people that are doing it the incorrect way. But you all have to start from somewhere, right? We're all new. We have to start from somewhere, but just make sure you're doing the right job. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. San Antonio, Texas. And then we have one in Minneapolis. We have Tampa. We have another one in San Antonio, Vegas, and Jersey City. All right. So what do we have in San An? Let's see. Whoops. Hold on a second. I think I put the wrong address. All right. So this is hold on, I think this is the wrong address. It says Blue Ridge Avenue. So when I look at Blue Ridge Avenue, it pulls up Leesburg, Virginia. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think you may have. Let me type this in. Let me see. Oh, actually, there's one in San Antonio, Texas as well. Hold on a second. I'm getting blown up here, so I got to put Nuster. All right, here we go. Oh, this looks nice. Oh, I think I called this one. I remember I called this one. They didn't answer the phone. But it's been on here for 174 days with only 13 saves. It doesn't matter what I think about the price, what the seller thinks about the price. It always matters, how is the market responding to this number? Has it been sitting on the market? I got into a debate with an agent yesterday. One of the students made an offer because there was a flood damaged home. So they made an offer based on land value. The agent listed it for full market value as if the property was renovated. And I politely said, well, you're asking full market value for a flood damaged property. We're making an offer for land value. That's probably why it's been listed for 4 to 5 months. Are there any comps that I could be missing? Provide me some comps. Change my mind. We just have to educate people. And, when they're not open to it and, they're stuck on their price, then you just got to follow up. So look at this property. All right. So they're asking $132,500 for this. They cut the price last week, it looks like, a few weeks ago, for $10,000. Investor special, this charming 3-bedroom, 1-bath, nestled on the expansive lot, is bursting with potential and awaits your creative touch. With a little work, this property could become an exceptional investment. An oversized carport offers ample room for multiple vehicles or extra storage, ideal for practical convenience. Man, they're really selling this thing. Let's see. Okay. So oversized carport offers ample room for multiple vehicles or extra storage. Okay. All right. I mean, I look at these things. You got to visualize what it'll look like after, but I don't care. It really depends on the comps. All right. So let's give this person a call. Let's see. Did you put any more information in this one? Wood panel, wall needs replacing, needs to be painted in a better color. Bathroom needs replacement. All the floors need to be up. All right. Yeah, this thing needs everything. I mean, is that a table? Look, they covered it with a table. Yeah, it definitely needs different colors. Okay. I mean, this thing looks like it could fall apart here. All right. But this is what they're asking, well, look at this. They're listing it for 132, but they told you 140. Told you 142. Okay. Well, maybe that's when, before they drop the price. All right. So I offered 38. You looked at some comps. Okay. 176, 166. All right, cool. Let's give him a call. Mr. Devin. According to your comps, I haven't ran comps yet, but they're already asking close to full market value. So that's that. And sometimes we want to see what they saw, right? I always like to ask people, hey, just out of curiosity, how did you get to that number? Is there something that I'm missing here? Because I can't find any comparable properties to yours fully renovated that are worth that price. All right. Let's go ahead and give them a call. Where's the all right, in the community you guys are sending me. All right, cool. Yeah, if you're in the community, send me some messages. I'll take a look at that, and then if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. All right, let's call Mr. Devin, and let's find out why he's asking so much. Man, this thing's been a long time. Only 13 people saved it.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice
Estimated
message
value.
system. 2 1.
I'm back. Estimated value on this property is 145. Okay, and they're asking 132. Why? I mean, I don't know why the agents do that, especially a property in this condition. Let's call them back again. See if they pick up second time. And then I'll answer a few questions before I make some more calls. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'll get to them there. Hello? What? Like 75. Yes, here's a perfect comp right here, sold for 85. ARV, I see 180. Well, here's a fully renovated.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 21088.
A very
26909 is not available.
This is a cookie cutter comp. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. Sometimes the comps, you can run them so quickly. Remember, you look at bedroom, bathroom, square footage, year built, and obviously the condition. But there's a property right here. Let me show you. This is a good comp right here. This comp, I mean, this is fully renovated. Okay. And sold last month. Full renovation. Okay. And this sold for 180. on the MLS. Okay. So yeah. And then there's a cash comp that sold for 85. I think if we're at 70 to 75, we're good. Okay. I think we're good at 70, 75. So sometimes you're able to see. Remember, when you're running comps, and I have a video on this on my channel if you ever want a refresher, but when you're looking at comps, you want to look at what is the highest sold price in the last 3 to 6 months or 12 months. Don't go back further. You have to stay as close as possible, not only proximity wise, but time frame. What is the highest selling? Okay, and what is the lowest selling? And then what are the cash comps? All right. So this is Texas. Again, it's non-disclosure state, so you have to use MLS data. There are some comping tools that provide that. Okay. If we submit a lead, how long typically can we expect to wait for it to be called? Is there a long wait list? I submitted one last week and hasn't been called yet. So if you are submitting leads in the community, all right, I'm always obviously on top of those leads. If you submit them publicly, you just have to tune in every Friday, but I'm always on top of it. There's not one lead that I don't call. Now, not all the leads answer. Okay. And if I call them twice, they don't answer, you're going to have to resubmit it. And you won't know that unless you tune in every time. But in regards to the community, how many more leads are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's 4 leads left to call in the community. Okay. So actually, hold on. Yeah. I called Blue Ridge. I called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leads. There's 6 leads. So I'm definitely going to get through all of them, if not most. And then you can just resubmit any new ones you get along the way. All right. What else we got? Drop in some questions you guys have. What's up, Mike? All right. If the seller won't give a price and you drop a range, if the seller likes the range, do you always follow that up with, if we can go cover the closing costs, what's the best price you can do? Great question. So, they won't give a price drop. You give a range. If they like the range, okay, you always want to follow up with that. Now, if I give somebody a range of, I don't know, let's say 1 to 140, all right, and I say, yeah, in order for this to make sense to us, we'd have to be between 1 and 140, okay? Remember, I've never spoke with somebody that says, oh, I'll take the 100,000. They're always going to want the top number, okay? So what you do is you wait to see how they respond. So, hey, John, in order for this to make sense to us, we'd have to be anywhere between $100,000 to $140,000. Okay. I want to see how he responds. If he says, no way, I don't like that, I say, okay, no problem. Well, let me ask you this. What if I cover your closing costs, your fees? There's no commission since there's no agent involved. And I can close in a time frame that works best for you. If I can do all that for you, what do you think would be the best price you can do? And then I want to get that number out of them. If they like the range, say, great. All right. That makes sense. Awesome. So here's what I'm going to do, John. I still have to crunch numbers with my team. But let me ask you, if I can cover your closing costs, your fees, there's no commissions, what do you think would be the best price you can do? Now, they'll never pick the bottom number. They'll either pick the top number or they'll counter a little bit more, or they just won't like it altogether. So whether it's a good range, if they like the offer, if they don't like the offer, I always ask that question, especially with people that don't want to show their cards. You know, when we're negotiating with homeowners, it's a dance. They always know the number they want. They just, when they say, I don't know, or you tell me, they have a number. They don't want to tell you, but they don't know what the property's worth. So before we get up to all that, I like to say, what do you think the property's worth, or what were you looking to at least sell for? Therefore, I like separating their opinion of value and their asking price. Some people will say their price up front. Some people, won't tell you. Some people will get angry. Most people will decline your offer and then they'll counter you with theirs. But I always do the best price you can do. Helps a lot. Okay. The problem with off-market properties is locating the seller to speak to. Yeah, that could definitely be a challenge depending how you're marketing to them. There's free sources like True People Search. It's not always the most accurate, but it does give you some options. If you guys are pulling a list of like 10,000, you want to use a skip tracing provider that provides at least 5 to 10 phone numbers. Now, remember, it doesn't matter what skip tracing provider you use. There's always wrong numbers, wrong properties, angry people. They're not always going to be motivated. But, what I like to do, if I can't get a hold of somebody to speak to, I look at the mailing address. And if it's different than the property address, send them something in the mail. Some people will not respond to phone calls. Some people use landlines that might be disconnected. So we have to think outside the box as to how do we reach this person? If I have a hard time reaching somebody, I try to reach out to the relatives. It depends what kind of lead it is. Mike, are you finding issues when comping now knowing the market is changing in certain states? So not really. Your offers basically adjust with whatever the market conditions are. And the market always tells me what price I have to be at, because what I care about is, okay, what are investors buying at? Similar properties. Remember, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, year built, condition. Those 5 things. I want to look at all that stuff. PropStream automatically does a great job kind of refining the square footage, and you don't want to go back in 12 months. I always tell people, this is how I come up with my offers, right? Mr. John Smith, the way we come up with our offers, just to let you know, is I collect information just like I did about you, why you want to sell, when you want to sell, about the property. And then what I want to do is I want to look at similar properties with similar bedroom, bathroom, square footage, year built, condition. And I try to go back 3 to 6 months, John, but I don't want to go back farther than 12 months because the market could definitely change. Does that make sense, John? Then say yes. So, as long as you guys are within that time frame, you're okay, right? If you go beyond 12 months, the market was a different time already. Then it's a lot of changes going on right now, but that's why the time frame is so important when you're looking at that stuff. Steven, what if your seller wants to text because their English is not very good? Then you text them. And if you don't know Spanish, you just use Google Translate. Okay. You're leading New York. I got to check that sheet. Sometimes you dig deep. Yep. All right, let's make some more calls. Let's see the next one that's on the list here. This one is in Minneapolis. All right. That, somebody submitted a lead a while back, Minneapolis. I got to check in on them because it was a good triplex deal, but I think they ran into some like zoning issues or something. And that stuff happens. When you guys are new, for any of you guys that are new out there, it is so easy to get discouraged and lose your self-esteem when you don't get offers accepted, or maybe you get a contract, you get excited and it falls through. Let me tell you, you are not alone. It happens whether you're new or experienced. Contracts that fall out are part of this game. What I want to make sure are 2 things. I need to keep my pipeline full, and I have to have more contracts to close, okay? Because you have to remind yourself you can only control what you can control, all right? Not every deal is going to close, and you just have to get used to that. That's completely normal. I had 2 deals we had to cancel for things beyond our control. One was going through a probate situation. Then it got completed and the partner backed out, and the price was too high. There's just so many variables, but the most important thing is this: whenever you are about to cancel a contract, because let's say you don't get offers, you always have to go back to the seller with something. We actually got a property under contract in Tennessee, and all our offers came at the contract price or below. And the reason was because they found termite damage. So we're going to take that information from the buyer. We're going to take that information to the seller, say, hey, originally we were at this price. You haven't seen this property in a long time. We're seeing it with some partners. They found termite damage, and show proof, right? I always try to show proof if we can. Let me pull this property while I'm speaking here. But when you come with facts to the table, people are always a lot more reasonable. So you just got to keep that in mind. So this property, I just want to make sure this is the right address because it doesn't look like it's coming up here. All right, but you know, contracts will fall out. It's okay. It's not you, right? Sometimes it's you, but you know, the most important thing is you get at a price that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then it's on you. Don't ever lock up deals at a high price just to price drop. You know, I'm not a big fan of that at all. You're playing with people's lives. This is a people's business. Some people look at these leads like dollar signs. How much money can I make from this? How much money? All that stuff will come, but just focus on, does this person have a problem? Are they motivated to sell, right? Do they even want to sell? Some people will say, well, you know, if I get the right price, I'll sell. You need to speak with people that want to sell and need to sell. And then find out why they want to sell. Okay, you want to sell because you inherit it. It needs a lot of work. What is your ultimate goal? Is it, you know, price? Is it speed? Get that information. And trust me, your life will be a lot easier. But don't look at these like, how much can I make and all this stuff. It's easy to lose track. All right. This next one here. This house looks like it's in great shape. What's up with this one? All right, 32nd Street, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay, I asked seller, and he said he would need some work, but he didn't have time to talk about it when I called him. Asking price. He told me I needed to give him an offer first. This is the kind of seller you want to give a range to. He said he would sell sometime this spring. All right. So his name is also Steven. So let's give him a call and see what's going on here. Mr. What's his? Hold on. What's his? Sheehan. I'll just call him Steven. All right, let's give him a call and find out. I mean, the house looks like it's in good shape. He didn't really mention exactly why. I always start running comps when it rings. There are some new comping tools in this marketplace. Hello? Oh, I thought I answered the phone. I gotta I'll make a video about some new tools that I've been using that have actually made things way easier. Let me try calling this gentleman one more time. See if he picks up the phone. When you're doing this nationwide and you're calling from an area code that they don't recognize, sometimes they just don't pick up. Okay, so you know, double dialing sometimes helps, unless they're like busy or in the middle of something.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Steven?
Speaking.
Hey, my name's also Steven. I think you spoke with my partner not too long ago about your property on 32nd Street. Were you still interested in selling it?
Yeah, I'm taking, I'm walking people through it and taking offers if you're interested.
Sure. I just had a few more questions about it. Did I catch it a good time?
No, not really. I've got a meeting that's starting here pretty quick.
Oh, when's a better time my partner can give you a call back?
Hey, this afternoon should be fine if you want to talk.
All right. I'll let him know. Thank you. All right. On this afternoon, I'm going to run some quick comps for you because you submitted that, you know, they were in a rush. Anytime somebody answers and they're just like, I'm busy. So number one, I don't see too much information about this property. You want to find out a little bit more about it because it looks like it is off market, which is great, but you have to find out what's the age of the roof, you know, just all the basic stuff, age of roof, age of AC, how's the electric and plumbing. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,590 square feet, lot size, it's built 1900. Sometimes these older houses, the buyer's a little bit more picky. I mean, from the outside, it looks okay. Okay. And it looks like, man, you got some investors paying high here. There's one Well, this one's up. Let me see. 25. Okay, so ours is 2590 heated. Remember, don't go based off of building square footage. Look at heated square footage. Heated square footage means livable square footage. A garage doesn't count as livable square footage unless it's converted, right, with permits and all that stuff. But let me just run some quick comps here. Man, there's an investor bought one for $265 down the street, and it was smaller. Here's another one for $230. He's got a really big property. Somebody paid $270. Wow. Here's one. This guy paid $206. This buy and hold investor paid $460, and he bought this 2 months ago. But that's a little bit bigger than ours. Wow, man, these guys are paying high here. I found a smart match. So this investor, check this out. He paid $485,000. He flipped it in 11 months, and he resold it for $985,000. That is a great deal. And the property was built in 1905. Let me show you the comp. This is the comp right here. Look at this. I'm not going to show you the subject property, but it looks just like this. But this is a really good comp. It almost looks just like ours. And you could tell, like, this property stage, so it's a clear flip. This could be good. This could be a great deal. And based off the street view that we looked at, ours doesn't look like it's even distressed. So what I would say about this one, I would give a maximum allowable offer of $475,000. Remember, just because your maximum allowable offer is $475,000 does not mean you call them and say, I can offer you $475,000. Because then what happens if you said, well, you can offer me that. Can you do 480? Right? You always want to start off with an anchor price and then make a range and then do the best you can do. You know what? I'm going to do a video series on my channel about the 5 steps on how to do this because it's a process. I've been following these 5 steps for 10 years now, and it's worked really good. And you always want to follow a process because let me tell you guys, every conversation is different. Everybody wants to sell for different reasons, some similar reasons, but there's never like a perfect script where they say this and you say this. It's always like they talk about the property or they tell you why they want to sell. You have to redirect them back to what you need, but there's definitely a process you need to follow. And once you master that process, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be really easy to get contracts. This is a very nice flip. They did a great job. It's got this is close to the water too. This is a comp, by the way. Our property was only built 5 years before this one. So yeah, 475 is your MAO. It's a great deal. So make sure you follow up with them. Who submitted this lead? Laura, looks like you submitted that. So make sure you go ahead and follow up with them later. All right, let's keep it going here. Darlena, Tony, I really appreciate you teaching content. Absolutely, that's what I'm here for. Did Alex sign the contract? He didn't even open it, Darlena. You got to check in with him today. He didn't even open it. Okay. All right, Joanne, you sent in a new one. Let me just check here. Got it. Okay. Rochester, let's go ahead and call this one. Hold on a second. I think somebody submitted this lead already. If 2 people submit the same lead, I have to go with who submitted it first. Okay. Yeah, somebody did submit this lead already. I spoke with them on yesterday's call. So the guy, he got really offended, and he said he just wants to meet in person. We have to be at 15. He's at 35. So I did call. All right, we got some questions in the private chat. Good afternoon, Stephen. When you are making offers, do you apply the 70% rule and factor in rehab costs to calculate your wholesale profit? That's a great question. So I personally, the 70% rule is not my first strategy when running comps. Okay, I'll give you an example. So let's take this address. Now, this one's fully renovated, obviously, but I'm just going to use this address. Okay. Let me see something real quick. Okay. Anyways, all right. So this property right here, for example, PropStream automatically tells you an estimated wholesale price, but it does not factor in the repair cost because that could be, I mean, that could change. It might need a little bit, might need a lot, but they do. This is simply 70% of their estimated value. Now, this property sold for $985. All right. 985. That's what, 115,000 more. My math is correct than what the estimated value is. So when it comes to 70% rule, I like doing that if I'm having a hard time finding comps, and I want to be very conservative. One of my cash buyers told me this calculation, and it may not apply to all buyers because all of them have different labor costs, material costs. But one of my favorite cash buyers, one of our VIPs, he said, Steven, if the house needs a very light rehab, do $10 a square foot. Medium rehab, $20 a square foot. Heavy rehab, $30 a square foot. So 10, 20, 30, light, medium, heavy. And that's just a good rule of thumb. So for example, let's say just hypothetical explanation, this property, let's say that it's worth $870,000. Okay. So what we're going to do is take our calculator here. Now we already know that 70% is 609. Let's say it needed a medium rehab. So we're going to take the heated square footage, 3718, and we're going to do 3718 times $20 a square foot. So that's about 74. I always like rounding it up to be conservative. All right. So let's say $75,000 rehab. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 609. All right. $609,000 minus $75,000. That is at 534. And this is where you decide, well, how much do I want to make? And this can vary depending how much somebody's asking. If somebody's asking more than this number right here, then you can't go down too much. If somebody's asking less, you can go a little bit further. Let's say we wanted to make $10,000. We're going to subtract $10,000. And we come up with a maximum allowable offer of 524. Okay. Now, again, this varies by market. It varies by condition. Okay. What I like looking at first is what are the comps in the area? Because sometimes investors will pay more, right? And it depends on the condition. The investors, when you're looking at investor comps, that'll show you more about the market than the 70% rule. But the 70% rule is a good rule of thumb. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Steven, what version of PropStream are you using and what do you recommend for beginner investors? There are different prices. Where do I start and why? So last time I checked, I think PropStream is $97 a month or maybe $99. I think that should be the only price. There is a 7-day free trial for it. Okay. But unless they just update something I'm not aware of, but PropStream should be, I think, almost $100 a month. And I've been using it for a year, so it's great. All right. Great question. Great question. So, yeah, hopefully that answers that. Okay. Let's call some more. If you have more questions, drop them in. But let me show you this real quick. So let's say this property, obviously it's renovated, all that stuff. Let's say it's just in fair shape. When I click this comparable nearby listings, okay, it automatically refines 12 months and it automatically refines the square footage. Another button you can use is flip comps. All right. So when I'm looking at comps, okay, what's the highest? What's the lowest? I mean, this is a luxury area. But this flip comps button is very useful because it says what investors bought for and sold for in a short amount of time. So sometimes this will tell you your MAO from the beginning. All right. So, but you want to make sure that you're going back at least 12 months. So you might need to filter this. But look at this. Okay, then they bought this for 1.1. They flipped it for 1.19. They This has to be an arm's length transaction because there's no way somebody flipped it for $1. Hey, that does happen though. Some of these investors, they go to the closing table. This guy made 500,000. Look, this was actually the flip. 485. Okay. They flipped it for 985. They made a gross profit of 500,000. So this can tell me automatically what my MAO is, right? You want to make 10,000, you got to be less than this if you're looking to assign. Okay. And if it's in a waterfront area, don't compare waterfront properties if your subject property is not waterfront. That makes a huge difference. So yeah, that is that is it. All right, let's keep going to these leads here. Let me take it off. Some good leads coming in. Kariuska, you want me to run comps? You have to send me a message in the community. All right. Let's go over here. All right, so there's another one in Tampa on 44th Street. Okay. Florida's slowing down. Oh, no, I actually called this one. This is the one next to the cemetery. They didn't pick up the phone. All right, San Antonio, Texas. All right, another one in San Antonio. Somebody dumped their whole CRM in here, I guess. Mulberry Avenue. Man, this one looks nice too. Another boarded up property. Let me close some of these tabs. All right, Mulberry in San Antonio. This one needs a lot of work, but we like stuff that needs a lot of work. Is this fire damage? It looks fire damage too. All right, when you're looking at fire damage properties, I start off the negotiation off of lot value. Okay, because sometimes this stuff is so damaged, it's just better off as a teardown. All right, so here's a property. Okay, so we can see, so they did some work on it. I don't know, or they started, or maybe it's just clutter. Does look fire damaged. Okay, so yeah, this needs absolutely everything. Wow. Okay. All right, cool. So what's the story with this one? Complete rehab needed, walls, floors, kitchen. Okay. Needs a little TLC. They're asking 149. Reason for selling. Oh, wait, asking 149. He said he would take 135. You countered at 100,000. Good. Reason for selling, he cannot rehab. Too much for him. Okay. All right. So let's give them a call. Mr. David Romo. Let's see if he picks up the phone, and then I'll start running comps on this. He's asking hi. I don't know where they're getting these comps from. Most people do hi because they know you're going to come in low. So it doesn't always mean they're not.
David Romo.
Hey, Mr. Romo. My name's Steven. I think my partner spoke with you about your property on Mulberry. Are you still accepting offers for it?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. Did I catch you at a good time?
Yes, I can talk.
Okay. So obviously this property's fire damage. Would you
Fire
say
damage?
am I looking at the right one? Mulberry Avenue?
Yeah, 1139.
Yes, sir. Is this fire damage?
I didn't see any fire damage unless it just recently happened.
Oh, I could be wrong. It just looks fire damage. Like
Yeah, it looks bad, but I don't think there's any fire damage that I know of. But I'll double check with the seller. But go ahead anyway.
You're the agent representing the seller?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Okay. Is it? Would you say this is salvageable, or is this more like a tear down? Or
It is salvageable, but it needs a lot of work. Okay. And let me just tell you exactly what happened. He bought it for 135. And he spent some money remodeling and doing windows. He may have overpaid for it. That's I can admit that. Yeah. So he says, I'd like to get my 135 out of it. So he says, anything like 130 and above, bring me an offer. But other than that, he goes, don't bring me nothing under 130. And I said, okay.
Anything under 135, he won't consider?
Under 130. I'll take him anything over 130.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't. I don't. Is he open to? Go ahead.
And I understand not everybody can buy every property. You know, not every, you know, it
Right.
just takes a special, you know, there's another person out there that might buy it. I used to buy houses too when I was, 20, 30 years ago.
Mhm.
So you can't just buy everything. It's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're an investment company. I didn't want to waste your time. I don't, we would have to be at a significantly lower. Let me ask you this. Do you think he might be open to potentially, if we could pay higher price, with seller financing? Is that something you might be open to?
No, he wants to cash out, sir.
Yeah, that's okay. I saw it's been sitting on the market for a while. I think somebody would buy it to live in it, but I didn't want to waste your time as an investor making that high of an offer.
I understand, sir. You have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, you know how long this property's been on here for? Let me do some math here. 9 months. 9 months this guy has been trying to sell this. I mean, does this not look fire damaged? I mean, it looks fire damaged to me. Unless this is spray paint. Yeah, that's not going to sell. There's a comp here. Oh no, this guy, there's no way. There is no way. There's a fully renovated property. Like, look at this, guys. Let me show you this. Hold on a second. How do I'm going to show you this. This is why he's not going to sell it. This is a comp. Look, this thing's fully renovated. Okay. Oh, that's what it was before. Let me look at something real quick here. Let me go to this comp, because if this thing, yeah, this is the right address. This sold for $150? There's no way. Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah, check out this comp. This guy won't, unless somebody wants to buy it to fix it up and sell it. Yeah, I don't know. Transaction 20. Okay, well, yeah. He's gonna have a hard time. Some people just won't. I mean, he's losing money already, so I get it. But it's just gonna sit longer. You should still follow up with him. You never know what'll happen. Always follow up with the people. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, thing's rough, Sai. Sai, you could sell it. Yeah, this needs everything. Wow. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'll be making more videos on, I think I'll do another video on comps at some point. I'll do definitely video on the 5-step process. Keep the pipeline full. Let's keep the leads going. Guys, have a great weekend. Go crush it. Make those calls. Make those offers. Offers. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Have a great weekend.